if you clicked on this video, then I'm hoping that you can provide me some advice or insight and experience as to how you may have managed to cope with what I'm going to talk about in this video, because I have spoke about this before in a previous video, but it's got to the point now where it's kind of getting a bit too much, and it's manifested itself into pretty much an existential crisis. I've pretty much always had the feeling of not belonging, and I don't just mean in like your family or in your friend group, like I mean deeper than that. Like, I don't belong on this earth, like my soul should not be here, type of thing. So I've always felt this throughout my life, but as I've got older, it's got increasingly worse. And over the last couple of weeks, like I say, it's manifested itself into a full-blown existential crisis, where now the feeling of not belonging here is so overpowering that it's bad, right? I need to change the way that I'm thinking. I need to find out from people who may be older than me. So I'm 36, if this is the first time you're ever meeting me. Hi, I'm KD. I'm 36, so, you know, if you're older than me and you've had one of these existential crises, I'm just going to say it because it literally is, right? We'll go over the meaning in a minute of what that is, just so that if you're just a little bit unaware, then I can clarify it, or just if you don't know, then we can go over it. But sorry, I go off on a tangent. I'm hoping that if you are somebody that's gone through this in life and you're able to give me some sort of advice or direction as to how to deal with this. So you're probably wondering, like, what is it that's affecting you, right? So by now, if you know me, if you're a regular viewer on this channel, you're going to know that I just talk about things that I feel, and most of the time I usually say this sentence that I'm about to say, which is, it's super weird, but I'm just going to have to say it anyway, in case there's anybody out there that truly feels the same way that I do, so that I can understand that it's not just me in this world, right? So it might be a bit weird, but I feel like I don't belong here anymore as a human on Earth, because one of the biggest reasons is I've been here so many times, as in past lives, right? Don't remember them, but I've got a strong feeling, like, in my soul, that I have been incarnated here multiple times, and I am at the end of my tether. I do not want to be a human. I don't want to live this human experience anymore. I feel like I've done it too much. I feel like, truthfully, I've said this before as well, but I feel like I've been a mother in my past lives so many times, which is why this life I am so anti-children, right? I have so many deep-rooted feelings that I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be here. So the things that really grate on me is the standard stuff, really, that people would say, right? Like, you know, violence. I can't stand violence. Like, I don't watch the news. I don't read a newspaper. But even still, just on YouTube, it gets filtered to you, like these protests that are going on and people in America, like, smashing people up, and I can't deal with it. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I cannot deal with the human. I don't want to be around people like that. I don't want to be around energy like that. I don't feel like I belong in a place like that. And the older that I'm getting, like I say, the worse that it's getting, because I'm finding myself sitting here and saying, I don't want to do another 30 years of this. I don't want to go through this human thing for another 30, 40 years. And no, I'm not trying to log myself off or anything like that, right? So let's get that clear. It's not that type. It's just the existential crisis of what in the world, where is my placement? Where is my placement? Because I don't feel that it's here. There's too much in this world that I do not resonate with at all. So we're going to go over here to the meaning of an existential crisis, just in case some of you might be like, oh shit, I actually had that and didn't know what it was, right? So, an existential crisis is a period of intense questioning about life's meaning, purpose, and one's place in the world. It often involves feelings of anxiety, confusion, and a sense of being lost or disconnected. This can be triggered by major life transitions, personal losses, check, or simply a growing awareness of mortality. So I fall into one of those categories because I lost my dog not too long ago. And yeah, it probably did start getting amped up when that happened, not gonna lie. So it says here's a more detailed explanation, the core elements, questioning purpose and meaning. Individuals grapple with fundamental questions about why they exist, what their life's purpose is, and whether their actions have any lasting significance. Identity crisis. A crisis can also involve a questioning of one's identity, values and beliefs, leading to a sense of confusion about who they are and what they stand for. I mean, it goes on. It goes on, right? Anxiety and dread, feelings of disconnection, major life transitions, awareness of mortality. That one's not too much for me. Like, I know I'm going to go, right? We all know, but again, I feel like I've been gone so many times and repeated this life so many times being a human that I am just done. But what I also want to talk about is when we go down here and it says coping with existential crisis. Obviously, the first one is going to be seek professional help, right? Go to a therapist or a counsellor. Now, this is what I want to talk about a little bit further because this might be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's me. And you might think the same way as me about this. I don't know, so I'm just going to say it. So, it says to seek a therapist or a counsellor. Now, my problem with this is that each therapist or counsellor is trained by a manual. They are trained by words. They are not trained by experience. They simply cannot be trained by experience because each person's life that comes to them that needs therapy may have such huge traumatic experiences that of course one could not experience all of these in their own lifetime. So this is where I have a problem with it myself, okay? Personal opinion. I don't want to go to somebody who is, again, taught by a manual and by words and not feelings and experience that's going to help me, okay? Because I know that they're probably going to do the whole, are you okay? Are you suicidal? Blah, 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 blah. And then we'll find things that make you happy in life, I know all of this, okay? I don't need you to say shit like that, right? I want somebody who's like, you know what, I feel exactly like you, or I did feel exactly like you. I felt like I don't belong here and I just want to go back home, and that there's a piece of me somewhere that exists in the universe that you're missing from that piece, right? Like, take me back home, basically, right? I want to connect on a level where I'm like, yes, you understand. And then they turn around and say, and this is how I helped myself, and this is how I got over it, and these are my coping mechanisms. I can tell you right now that if I went to a therapist or a counsellor, 9 times out of 10, they are not going to think the way that I think. They are not going to believe the things that I believe. They are not going to have the experience of the existential crisis that I have right now. They are not going to be able to help me as much as somebody, maybe on the internet, who's listening to me right now, could do. So here's another little thing that I wanted to talk about and put into a conversation in the comments. AI. ChatGPT is probably a better therapist, controversial I know, but give me a minute, than possibly some, not all, some therapists and counsellors. My reasoning for this is because again, counsellors, therapists, they are trained on the manual. They're trained on like words, right? They're trained on the brain. They're trained on psychology and things like this, right? Maybe even a little bit of philosophical teachings, maybe. But the experience isn't there. My argument is that ChatGPT has been trained on the whole entire universe of us. We have inputted all the data for ChatGPT to learn from, which means all of the individual entries in Reddit, all of the individual entries in anywhere that people are talking about what they have been through, the actual experiences and episodes of life that other people may be going through and can actually relate to that. ChatGPT, I haven't tried this, right? So it's not like I've, tried to have therapy by ChatGPT. No. This is a thought I have had today. This is a thought that I want to bring to you today as it's fresh in my mind. Just think about it for a second. Is it not trained to have these experiences that people have put into it? Whereas, yes, maybe therapists and counsellors might have a little bit of experience, but my argument again stands that they cannot have every single experience, right? So, for example, I cannot relate to somebody that has maybe lost a baby. I can't do that. Can the therapist? Has the therapist lost a baby? Are they able to relate to that person deeply how they need it? That's my argument. That's what I mean. And so, do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, but I really wanted to talk about this because that was just what was going on in my mind, right? I'm just like, why pay for someone like a therapist? Because therapy isn't cheap, right? Therapy isn't fucking cheap. Denial is free. Yeah, I saw that saying somewhere, and I might turn it into a t-shirt because it was brilliant. Therapy's expensive. Denial is free. So you could pay a ton of money but not actually get the true experience and help that you may need. And I know, yes, it might help, like maybe in the short term, I don't know, I've never been to therapy, so those of you that have had therapy, I would absolutely love to hear your opinion, your experience. Like, I'm not sitting here telling people not to go to therapy. I'm just saying, in my personal situation, I think I would actually do better with people like you who are listening to me that have actually gone through these experiences that can help me change my mindset about this, because I'm telling you right now, I cannot stand being here as a human anymore. Like, I can't be dealing with it. I am absolutely done with it, and I just don't know how to get over that. Like, how are you in your 60s, 70s, 80s, had maybe this crisis in your 30s, 40s or something like that, and then are still now like okay with life? Like, how do you get there? Someone help me, please. Thank you.